good morning, and welcome to another Flash Fiction Live.
We made it.
It's I don't know how many people saw this, but I think I had it as the 24th episode, and it's 26th.
It's okay because I really need to actually, while we're setting up and everything, I'm gonna throw my spreadsheet that I have of all the flash fictions. Like, I have them mapped out by day. If I continue doing 3 a week, I got it mapped out for like through almost next year. Like, it doesn't come up to December, but I think it's like September or November is when it ends for all 200 prompts, and that's including all the lives, and then accounting that there might be a bonus with the live. But I was mostly going out on the book. I'm adding the bonuses in as we get there.
I think that'll be good because I need help.
Oh, my with that spreadsheet I have another tab where I'm tracking all the words for each of my flash fictions, including all critique group live flash fictions. And I'm at 10,400 words since September 26th, just in flash fiction. Yes, sweetie. What?
Hi, Michelle. How are you? Welcome. We are just swinging in here, getting ready for the day.
Actually, jump over.
My little cuddle bug here is
yeah, we got lap babies.
Yeah. And Dobby's acting like I've not spent any time with him. Usually I don't let him sleep in my room, but I was feeling, like I didn't want to get sleep last night, so I let him. And what do you know? I didn't get much sleep, so.
Yeah, he was playing Bop It and everything.
Yo.
With your nose.
Oh, he was. With his nose to my eye. There we go.
Yep. The aggressive nudge.
His vet was like, yeah. I took him in one time because he scared me, and I thought he was sick, so I took him to the vet, like rushed him to the vet. Vet examined him, did everything. Was like, yeah, he's aggressively affectionate, but other than that, he's fine.
I think the phrase, usually this is between spouses and stuff, where it's like, love me, or she'll be over soon, as you hug them really tight. And the other joke was snuggle struggle is what we called it.
Yes. Well, I don't have a lap baby. Listen, you could come babysit mine. He needs that constant validation and attention.
My dogs are ridiculous. Like, they get love. But anytime a new person comes over and they just show the slightest affection, they're like, oh my God, human touch. I'm like, really? Really? You were just laying next to me on the floor. Are you kidding me? Like, anytime I sit on the floor, they're right there next to me. Like, you can go on my Instagram. And I did a time lapse of me doing yoga. The one time I did yoga, I keep on saying I'm going to do it more, but I get distracted. And but there's like my son comes into the shot. Both dogs are in the shot. Like, they're there.
It's a little chaos.
Just a little.
You're like getting your zen in the middle and then surrounded by chaos.
Yeah. Well, and then it was adorable. Spencer trying to do some of the stretches, and he's doing his own little
so
like form, just not there yet, but it's okay.
I love it.
All right.
So today we're doing prompt number 26.
Yep. I am going to type it in the chat as well.
I'm going to grab a 10-minute timer.
Oh, hold on.
And
yeah, that's you.
Oh, I've been working on a project for organization.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited about it because I think it's going to be a lot of fun to share. So that'll be good. And it's a lot of it is like, it's stuff that I already do, but some of it is new to me. It's just stuff I've seen before. And I was like, ooh, let me just throw that in here because it's something I could easily add and it may be very helpful for other people. So I'm excited about that. Also, I need to respond, but Clever Fox Planner commented on one of my videos.
That is
And I was
awesome.
like, well, it's funny because I think I tweeted at them. I sent them a message on Instagram and Facebook about my specific issue, and they responded to all of them, but no, we don't do that kind of response. And then my video, they were like, sounds like we maybe should listen to. Yes, you should. Thank you.
I highly suggest it.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm gonna have to be like, yes, please.
But the feedback you gave was like, yeah, they don't have these things, but they have enough of the things that I want that I'm willing to accept what they don't have type thing. So it wasn't like a complete like brutal like
roast.
You're losing a customer type.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm like, I think at that point, I mean, I don't even think I did that with my my. It's like a Goodreads substitute book that I.
Yeah, that website. You were talking about how it's good and bad, and you didn't. I remember you didn't like how it was divided by genre.
Yeah,
it wasn't divided by genre.
Yeah,
it was something like.
Yeah, no, it was everybody made a random list, and that's how you would find books, unless you specifically searched for the book.
Yeah.
So I didn't love that.
I think I might do some like book recommendation YouTube at some point.
Ooh, I like
because so like for instance, I've read I love memoirs and biographies. I definitely love it. And some of my favorite are military ones, especially like I read one that was from an army colonel, and it was talking about how she totally admitted to breaking the rules and hiding the sexuality of one of her female troops when she knew that she was a lesbian, because it was before Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. And so that I really liked that book. And that was just a small chapter, but like how she dealt with sexism in the military. And then I have an issue because I was at a work Christmas party, and it was at an open shopping center. And then I walked by a bookstore, which turned out to be Books A Million. I just never go shopping there. And I passed the entrance, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I passed the entrance. Too bad. A great willpower on my part. Turn around the corner, and there's another entrance, and I'm like, well, now it's just a sign. I have to go in.
Yeah. I gotta go.
Yeah. So I got 3 books, one on sale, and actually I ended up just getting a membership so I could get even more off on the books.
All right, let me some books.
So the prompt for episode 26: history rewritten. The words to include are funeral, condemn, distribution, button, sink, art, jealousy, brain, tax, lover.
Love
it. I feel like what I'm going to have to do is the time that I normally use to outline, I'm going to have to go find a historical event for myself, just because I really want to plug this with like a historical event somewhere.
Oh, I like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do some quick and fast research.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely done that before. It's kind of fun to do your research on the fly where you need it immediately and you don't have the time to get lost in the whole rabbit hole of, oh, where does this go? Where does that go? Where does this go? So
I think it'll be fun. The question is, like, I'm trying to. Ooh, I got an idea.
Are we ready to jump in here?
Get this because I'm gonna search up a famous funeral. That's where I'm going with the history rewritten.
I like it. I like it. Okay, we're gonna start our first sprint in 3, 2, and 1.
Ooh.
Whoa. I was not ready.
Oh no, I was set for that. I just finished my story. I didn't get to read over and edit it, and I didn't draft or outline this time. But I'm really looking forward to your how when you read this. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I can't wait.
I don't know how I did.
Yeah, I did. At the very end, I'm like, shoot, I forgot distribution, and so I'm going through trying to figure out because I was trying really hard because I was like, oh, I could say evenly distributed, and I'm like, keep it distribution. Don't change the tense.
I'm gonna go back and add it back in. It's not that I missed it. Like I edited a little bit because I was like, I could hear your voice in my head. Like, that doesn't really make sense, does it? When you look at the whole story, that doesn't really fit, does it? And I was like,
no, Dad's not home yet.
No.
Dog, stop. Your tail.
Also, for some reason, there's one sentence that Grammarly was like, why don't you put me here instead? And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense, Grammarly.
There was something in there where it was like, did you mean this? And I'm like, no. And I read it and I say it out loud and I go, no, I didn't.
Sure didn't. Grammarly was like, you sure? I'm like, I'm perfectly certain. Dobby, you gotta stop. He wants so much attention today.
You give him an inch, he tries to take a mile.
I swear. And he was like all up in my business yesterday. Michelle, hi Martin, by the way, welcome.
Hello, dear.
Some research and outline for chapters 2 and 3 of my book. Awesome.
Ooh.
What are you researching? I love me some research.
Yeah, I actually ended up researching a few things here. Really, Dobby? Come on, buddy. I feel like my son gives me more space than you give her.
It's possible.
Probably. Hey, do you wanna write? No? Okay. Never mind then.
No. See, this is
this story. This one
things. He's sitting in my lap and laying his head on the desk.
Oh. Yeah, this story I wrote 360 words, I think.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, 360, that's what I got. How much did I do? I did 467.
Not too bad. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Son. He's making me hold him. So like my left arm is holding him, so this is the only hand I got right now. And I'm just like, don't shift because you might fall.
Mildly inconvenient.
Yeah, I have to stop this stream real quick if we end up having to go to the hospital. Or it's on my phone, I'll just take my laptop with me.
That's terrible.
You got it right. No excuses. Isn't that what they say?
Why is his foot wet?
Oh,
I know I say this.
That happened last week.
It did. It's just like 2 toes. Specifically 2 toes.
Odd.
I'm trying to like love him so much that he's sick of me and he's like, this is nice. And I'm like, you're not supposed to enjoy this. He's like, but I do.
All right. You ready for some reading? Editing?
Yeah. Let me just find a timer real quick.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to come cuddle this cat so I can get some work done?
Actually, can you do my son at the same time too? Like, actually, my son will come cuddle the cat, so we kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I love this plan.
And my son's at that age where he can actually be gentle. He's not that, I love the kitty, and the cat's going.
Honestly, Dobby would probably be fine with that as long as he was getting attention.
Yeah. Yeah, so what if I pass out? That's fine. You know, I think I'm going to go grab a chocolate chip cookie.
Ooh, that sounds good.
My husband made homemade chocolate chip cookies and it was great.
Ooh.
No, no, we're not getting a cat. I'm sorry. No
I have a
cats.
frosted vanilla cookie. Not
Ooh.
frosted vanilla cookie, frosted vanilla candle.
And it makes you want a cookie.
Yeah. Actually, I have
Ooh.
a cookie left from yesterday. Michelle is also volunteering to come cuddle Dobby, so you hear that, Dobby?
You got the love.
You've got some sitters lined up? So one time I was out of town and my brother was watching him for me, and my brother was like petting him, paying attention to him because I'd been gone for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden he just like turned around and was like, and my brother was like, "What the heck? I was being nice to you."
Yeah, but you were nice longer than Dobby wanted you to be.
He was mad that I was gone, and so instead of just accepting
love
attention and love, he was like, "Well, this is not the love and attention that I specifically requested, so
Nice.
we ready to do this reading?"
Yep.
Okie doke. We will begin sprint number 2 in 3, 2, and 1. All right. Are we good? Did we do it?
Yeah, I at least read through yours once, and it captivated me. I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, I can't wait to read it again.
I think we did similar themes, but
Yeah, a little
completely
bit.
different execution, and I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, like right when I got further down, I'm like, wait a second, I know this. Hold on, buddy.
That was a fun one to write. I definitely
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
we definitely like clung to one word a little bit of that triggered us. All right, here
Barrett,
we go.
come get your godson.
Hold on, buddy.
So last night I had watched this really sad pet story, or read it. Anyway, I was just laying on the couch like crying while I'm reading it, like. And so then I was like, well, I can't let my babies like not be in here. So I let Dobby have free run of the whole house last night, including my room, which meant that he ignored me for the first part of the night, and then from about 2 or 3 this morning, came in and started stepping all over my face and headbutting me for loves and trying to knock things off of my nightstand while I slept. So I slept brilliantly. And I'm not being sarcastic. But now he's being super needy, and he's like, oh my god, no one loves me. And I'm like, that's
a lie.
That's a lie.
Survey says.
Okie doke. So, would you like me to read first?
Actually, I'm going to read yours first.
Okay.
I'm going to.
I feel ready.
Okay. I know. Sorry, I clicked before you. There. When I say click, you can move the down button arrow, okay? All right. I wish I didn't always have to be digging. This could have taken things as they were. Please stop. Sorry, interruptions. Instead of thinking I was superior enough to condemn things as I saw them, if I had allowed the funeral to be what it is instead of searching for some great plot. I buried my lover. Then I searched for him because I knew it couldn't be true that he was really gone. I stood over the bathroom sink with the faucet on full tilt to smother the sound of my sobs. I turned his broken coat button in my hands, trying to replicate his face in my memory. Thinking of our one trip away together, I couldn't seem to remember. My heart went cold, my brain muddled and foggy. I forgot to eat, sleep, live. Now I could see it. When it was too late for either of us to go back to the lives we had before. I wasn't even sure I had a life without him, but I wanted to go back anyway. Crying over the perception of a life lost was much different than knowing, hold on, buddy, much different than knowing it was gone forever or taking the life myself. Somehow, I had traded places with a woman I didn't know. I stood. Yes, a squirrel. I stood back with the blood going cold and tacky on my hands, the knife pasted into it like a glue. There was no denying it. I cut myself too in the process. I tried to wrestle the knife away. In the end, it hadn't mattered. Oh my God. Hold on. I got all 3 babies right now. Back to this. In the end, it hadn't mattered. She had watched us say our goodbyes, tied in the dark with the sewer rats coming up around her ankles. I held him, kissed him, comforted him. We said we love each other. I watched the jealousy burn in her eyes. She couldn't bear the thought of her husband. Her husband had loved another man. He had died for it, all because I couldn't leave well enough alone. People will always talk about things they wouldn't do for love, or how they would never hit a woman. But when I saw what she had done, I did hit her. I knocked her out cold, dragged her to the end of the line, opened an artery, and pushed her into the river. They would find her, true enough, but they would never be able to sully his good name or smear him for being a cheat. They would never malign him for loving me, and I would never be associated with his name. This was the tax on my love and the twisted distribution of justice. People would wonder why a promising young doctor had killed a professor of anthropology and his pretty young wife. That was what the papers would say, and there was no way they could know this was history rewritten. Ooh, second time around, I got even more chills because I only had a chance to read it once, but now I fully understand what the hell just happened. The only parts that I got confused on the first time was that you had this person being a promising young doctor, but they said my art went cold. Which I associated differently, even though technically a doctor art could be surgery, steady hands, suturing, and all that stuff. It made me think of like two different sides of the same person when it came to that. The part that I jumped around on a little bit, and maybe I'm interpreting it incorrectly, is that it seems like I thought it almost seemed like the wife killed the husband and then the lover killed the wife. But then at the beginning, it's talking about I buried my lover, but then I searched for him and I stood at the bathroom sink and stuff like that. Like, it made it seem like if I allowed the funeral to be what it was instead of searching for some great plot, like, which, by the way, I love to play on words on plot when you're talking about a funeral. Totally, that did not skip me. I love that part. But I was like, wait, because I wish I wasn't have to be digging. It made me think that they killed their lover and the wife, especially with the last line, and they were starting this with digging the hole to actually bury their lover. That's where I went with this, and I was like, oh wait, when did the death happen and stuff? So that's where I got and instead of thinking I was superior enough to condemn things as I saw them, like I was like, all right, what triggered this person to kill their own lover? And it almost maybe seemed like a mercy or whatever. Like, I got really confused on that, because it could have been a mercy kill to the lover because he killed the lover's wife, and he didn't want his lover to be condemned or whatever, so he was trying to save him. But what I took away from the story and what I like about it is that the lover is willing to have the entire society plaster him as the villain to preserve his lover's name so that it's not sullied. And I thought that was kind of like a beautiful sentiment, as crazy as it is in execution, but that's kind of a beautiful sentiment of like, I'll be the villain as long as you're okay. There was a lot of lines that I definitely loved, such as saying, if I had allowed the funeral to be what it was instead of searching for some great plot. I just like play on words. So I was like, plot, got it. I do like, because to me, this entire section definitely conveys when someone is in grief. I do like my art went cold, my brain muddled and foggy. I forgot to eat, sleep, live, like that. Like, I felt that in my chest, that just like a weight and everything. Like, it's difficult to even just move from one room to the other situation. Like, I felt that grief, and I think you did really well. What, Spencer? Huh? Help? You're watching video. What do I help with? Just open your eyes and look.
Oh my gosh.
I swear, I'm not really mean to my kids. It's just sometimes I'm like, what?
No, I feel that.
Like, how can I help you with, like, he operates the TV. Like, has switched the TV between, he's on YouTube right now, and he switched it to the Nintendo Switch earlier, and then back to YouTube. Like, he knows how to change inputs. Like, he's got it.
Mhm.
and everything. As long as wires are connected properly, which I'm in charge of, he can operate that whole shindig. So, all right.
You don't need me for that.
Yeah. We're gonna learn something called self-reliance, buddy. All right. But I will say during that sprint, I did make sure he went to the potty. So, and he peed on the potty immediately, and I'm like, yes, we're getting that much closer out of diapers.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to like put the diapers away, but if we keep on having a few good days, I might just have to suck it up and be like, here's underwear. If you ruin it, maybe it'll be the one and last time because it will traumatize you to never. Either way, back to this story. The other part is, but this kind of was almost like a red herring for me because I didn't realize the narrator was a man.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that reinforced that the narrator was a woman in my head was somehow I had traded places with a woman I didn't know. I'm like, okay, like that, I don't know. That part is what threw me off. Because I'm still left with the question of like, I know the narrator killed the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the last line makes me think they killed the husband too, because it said that's what it would say. But in actuality, that's what the newspaper would say. But of course, we understand that that's not the truth. So was it really the wife that killed the husband? And that's why the lover was like, oh, screw you, you're going down. You know, or that's the parts. But I think those are like kind of good questions, not like trip up inducing questions either.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could see this going multiple different ways. And here's the funny part, because the way you've written it, it's completely understandable. You can follow the logic of the story of the many different narrative paths. So yeah, I really liked it. Oh, and then I kind of like the last part. This kind of almost, I thought a film noir like talk over
Mm-hmm.
a little bit with the paragraph. People will always talk about the things they wouldn't do for love or how they would never hit a woman. And then it's like, but when I saw what she had done, I straight up hit a woman. Like it kind of made me think of film noir, as well as it also could have been like you see this guy, he goes and punches this woman, and it's like, you're probably freeze frame. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Like if we're going comedy route.
Oh gosh, yes, that's funny.
So absolutely loved it.
So the thing that I would like to clarify and what I would want to come through in the story, and I don't think it came through very well, is the husband / lover.
Yeah.
I guess you would call him the pinnacle of the love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Neither the wife nor the lover knew about the other.
Oh.
So he faked his death. That's why the lover was at the funeral.
But he didn't believe it. Oh.
Yes. And then he goes on digging, finds out about the wife, only she's like extra, and she kills her husband. That's when he kills her. Bada boom, bada bing.
Man, how many subplots can one story have?
I needed more words. This keeps happening to me.
But here's the thing, like, so that's what I like about our flash fictions. Like, we get on this like even the story you did about the girl going through puberty and like having this the nanites and stuff like that. It's like enough to get the basis. And if you want to keep it a flash fiction, we usually write around like 400 words. We still got plenty of room before we hit 1K.
Mm-hmm.
As well as what's great about it is sometimes it sparks us to write even longer than that, and I think that's even more awesome and stuff. Like this is I don't see any of the stories that we create in this as complete. Like there is something, and that's why I want to go back through all of them, and I'm gonna edit them after I'm done with the whole book of 200 prompts, which we're only 12.5% the way through now.
That was a fun one, though. I had fun writing this. Carrie Underwood song. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's actually really, really funny because it's my turn to read.
Ooh.
So, bearing Eva's comment in mind, the funeral procession was on one of the coldest days in November. There was an even distribution of people lining the streets to pay their respects to the widowed family and fallen. Some watchers would sink to their knees, their sobs attacks to losing someone they thought they knew. The saddest part was not the bystanders, but the family. The widow was now without her partner and friend and former lover. Their youngest child was preoccupied with a button on his jacket, but even he understood his father's casket went past to render a salute. The mother suppressed a smile, knowing showing pride in her son would be misinterpreted by the media. There was an art to handling such decorum. Entering the cemetery, the mother made sure to keep her head held high, but not too high. She knew what was to come next. As her husband was lowered into the ground, a blonde wearing all black approached the gravesite. The widow nodded with a fake smile to the family friend, as the public knew her. In over 6 years, this was the only time the widow felt jealousy. Blonde took off her sunglasses and lowered a black scarf from over her short curled hair. Black streaks could be seen down her cheeks. Paparazzi took a few pictures, and the bombshell offered a weak smile. They should be condemned, the widow thought. As the blonde approached the wick she was to light, she turned to throw herself over the casket. John! Oh, John, she called out. The widow quickly ran to her side, leaving the children in the audience. This was supposed to stay a secret, despite her husband's wishes for Blondie to light the eternal flame. Quickly using her brain, she lifted up the other woman, looking like a friend from a distance, but her grip was tight. "We'll both light it together," she whispered. The blonde nodded, allowing the widow to help her as they walked to the wick. They lit the eternal flame, heads bowed. Once lit, they exchanged a blink of an embrace, and walked in opposite directions of each other to never cross paths again. So, Eva, maybe, perhaps. So the thing here is that it is unclear what caused the death of the husband. Was it death? Was it murder? What happened was.
Did you guess who this was?
I was thinking it was JFK and the blonde was Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
Okay.
Which she actually died like 13 months before he did. She was buried 13 months before he was.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, longer than that.
Okay, so here's like just sidebar. Let me circle. Okay,
Yeah,
I have to say it because now it's in my mind. But there was also the CIA's wife, like the one of the lead guys in the CIA. His wife was also killed at the same time. Her, Marilyn Monroe, and then of course JFK, and it was like all like real close together. Anyway, I'm not into conspiracy theories or anything.
Well,
but
Marilyn Monroe passed away or was buried August 26th in 1962, and then JFK was buried November 25th, 1963.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I only know this from the quick internet research that I could have looked up a false website. Who knows? But yeah, okay, continue.
Anyways, I have suspicion about that because if anybody's seen the movie Salt, anyway, moving right along. So even though there are historical characters in here, I still feel like they're your characters enough that I would be curious if they actually killed him. Like that's a bit of lore I would believe. So the moment that I was like, yes, for the story was as her husband was lowered into the ground, a blonde wearing all black approached the grave site. And I was like, you bitch, how dare. Leave the woman alone. Like, have some dignity. Show up after everyone has left and you can lay all over the dirt. Nobody cares. Give her a minute. Jeez. Anyway, I'm petty and salty like that. Now, the two lines that I absolutely love. Wait, no. Let me go to the one that I didn't like. I don't usually dislike a line, but it's not the whole line even, it's word choice. I understand why you used the word because we had to, but quickly using her brain, she lifted up the other woman looking like a friend from a distance, but her grip was tight. I don't like using her brain in this context. I feel like the story is very lyrical and poetic, and it comes across as very sarcastic. And I felt like that wasn't the spirit of the story. I think because she's been so poised through the whole story, if that had come from the other woman, I don't think I would have thought about it the same way. But because your characterization is so good, I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's poised. She would be like, I felt like she would be, this is what needed to be done. I couldn't let her fall on her face right now because so much of the thing that I've created for my husband is at stake here. So this is the perception that I need everyone to have. And if this bitch falls on her ass, she messes up my entire plan. So now let me go. Like, this is one more thing that I have to do. And even if she's like begrudging it, I don't feel like she'd be, I'm gonna use my brain now. Like, I feel like it would be, this is the way that I am holding my plan together. I don't know. That was I guess that was the vibe that I didn't quite feel fit. Now, what I did love though is, and I felt like all of this other stuff leads into like her characterization, where there's a hinting at it that was her former lover. That she's watching everyone in the crowd be incredibly emotional about her husband, and she's just not quite stoic, but very composed. So in all of this, she's not going to look super emotional. There's also where she's feeling proud of her son, but she won't even acknowledge it with a full, like, the full pride that she's feeling, because there's the decorum that she's speaking of where she's got to hold it together. She's putting on a show. This is an Oscar-winning performance right here, and nobody knows it. And then she makes the point of not holding her head too high. And also, that was where I got Jackie O vibes because of the whole LBJ thing on the plane, where she's like, nah, it's okay. America can see me in my bloody clothes while I'm looking all composed as everything. And y'all can know exactly what's going on here. And I'm going to look composed and dignified, but you're going to see this and you're going to remember. I felt like it was those kinds of vibes where she's just like, listen. And then, of course, we have this bitch right here thing happening, which I absolutely love. And then the Marilyn nodded with a fake smile to the family friend. And it's just like, girl, you know. And how long it's been going on. And then she's like, and this is the only time I've ever felt jealous. And I felt like the jealousy wasn't actually over her husband. It was over the ability to show up in that way. It was because she's been composed this whole time, but she's like, we've not heard that she's wearing all black We haven't heard that she's got like streaks of makeup down her face. We haven't heard any indication that she's showed any emotion that comes from herself. And she's jealous because the other woman gets to be herself in this situation. And that sucks. I'd be pissed too. And yeah, she has every right to feel jealous about that. But her entire life has been about putting on this Oscar winning performance, and nobody sees her as a person. So then her perspective of the paparazzi, they should be condemned for this, the widow thought. And I was just like, she's like, she feels so much spite towards other people because of the lives that they get to live that she doesn't. And I love her. I feel like she killed him.
I love that how that story can evolve and there's little plot points to fill in there. Like, I love hearing your interpretation. Like, because to me, it then becomes a whole new story to me.
That's what I took away.
I love it. I was just so proud of myself, and like, because I'm writing this and I'm like, I chose JFK and then I'm writing it and I'm like, well, wait, this is supposed to be history rewritten. What would change? So I went, when did Marilyn Monroe die? Look it up, and I'm like, done. Like, what if she didn't? And I was like, what if she didn't? What would it be like?
I mean, after Happy Birthday, Mr. President, ain't nobody believe that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. To me, one of the things that stood out to me, because I read that there was an internal flame that Jackie was able to light. It was chosen for her to light. And then his plot got moved in 1967. I learned so much. This plot got moved in 1967, and they trade out the propane flame for a natural gas line, so that it will never go out through rain and such like that. And they, but she lit the internal flame. I forget what it signifies, of life after death or something. She lit it, and I was like, what if Kennedy's wish was for Marilyn to light it? Like, he actually had a will or something and wanted Marilyn to light it. And I was like, and that was her goal. And it pissed Jackie off so bad. But she had to keep her composure and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that. No, I liked it, and I picked up on the Marilyn Monroe vibes right away, and I was like, I love it. But I also feel like there's so many ways that history could be rewritten in this scenario. I feel like, I really liked it. I like this one.
I was proud of myself this go around, because lately I've been trying really hard to try writing without giving names.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel I did well, because like with Marilyn, I didn't want to call her blonde. Like I didn't want to say Marilyn. So I was like blonde, bombshell. And I was kind of proud of myself on certain points when I used that line. Like when Jackie was thinking of Marilyn, it was Blondie. Like it was like a stab almost. Mm-hmm. Like had it lift. Blondie took off her sunglasses and lowered the black scarf. But whereas when she entered, it's like as the blonde approached the wick she was to light, when it was the paparazzi taking pictures, it was the bombshell, because she was putting on Marilyn Locke, there's a great story about Marilyn Monroe where she was walking with somebody in like London or something, and they're just walking, talking, no one's really paying her any mind, and she says to the person, do you want to see her? The person's like, what? It's like, you want to see her? It's like, okay, sure. And then it's like her posture changed, her entire being changed, the essence changed, and she became Marilyn Monroe. And immediately everyone on the street saw her, and when they didn't see her before, it just made me think of like how a persona and stuff, like the way you carry yourself, and I find those stories interesting as well.
Yeah.
But as for something that I've been working on, of like not having names, I think this one gave me the most versatility because I could say the widow, and she was the main character and it was cute. But it's like I feel this is one of the best times when I've been trying to work on not giving names. But then what I also like is that everyone knows who it is.
Yes, but also the only person who's named is already dead, and I like that. I just think it's an interesting.
Yeah.
And
actually, in all actuality, I would think Marilyn would have kept her composure though, just because
unless
she knew.
Well, from the perspective of the wife, it seems that she doesn't have decorum, but the jealousy is initiated by the fact that the wife can't act just however she wants to. So that doesn't mean the other woman doesn't have decorum or composure. She still controls the perception that everyone has of her, but they don't have the same objectives as far as how they want to be seen by everyone else.
Yeah, because I figured Jackie, I have the 2 kids, I have all this. Yes, sir. You're hungry? You got 2 chocolate donuts on the table right next to you. No, not chocolate chip cookie, chocolate donuts. Let's stay to breakfast items. As we were. All right. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this one. I think that story could definitely evolve into something more. And
oh yeah, I liked it though.
Yeah, I had fun. Like I was happy. Like when I wrote it, I'm like, and when it clicked, like, wait, what's the history rewritten part? I'm like, oh, Maryland, like, dun dun dun.
Yeah, no, I think it was a perfect choice. Hold on one
Right.
second. I don't know what my dog is doing right now.
Go run check. I've run away before. Oh God, I keep on opening. You know how many freaking spreadsheets I have right now? I got a spreadsheet of upcoming expenses because I plan to take a few trips. Got Christmas budgeted, and I stayed under budget this year, which was pretty sweet. Well, actually not yet because for me, I still want to finish my half sleeve, and that's my Christmas gift. But then what was it? So I got like the writing prompts spreadsheet. I got 2 Millwordy spreadsheets. One is one that I actually worked in, and the other one is my template one. Mm-hmm. Then 5-minute sprint tracker that I did for like a quick second, and then I haven't opened since. An entire budget, because I'm that person that budgets, and I budget if every single bill was the highest it ever was, and I make sure I'm still in the positive if in 1 month every bill maxes out. And then you have your Clever Fox planner. Is that the budget one?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I haven't reviewed it. I'm going to review it next year because this is my first year using it. But
I like the idea that you're doing a full year. Like you're giving it a full, like.
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm sorry, I can't repeat myself. I don't know. Then I got an amortization schedule for. It was actually for. Oh no, it's for my husband's Jeep Cherokee. That we're still paying on. And then I got my holiday shopping Excel spreadsheet that had everyone planned out going, this person's going to get this item. It is wrapped, not wrapped, in transit to their location or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
I'm that person.
I'm this person. Oh, I should probably send out cards. They came in the mail yesterday.
Hey, but they came in the mail. That means you at least semi did it early enough.
I did put my. So the noise was Piper hiding in the hallway because Dobby was blocking her from coming into the office.
Aww.
But I did put up a tree. I got a fuzzy blanket. I got another one for a white elephant gift.
Oh, I love those.
It was a lot of fun. I was gonna take lottery tickets, but I forgot that in my state I have to have cash in order to buy lottery tickets. And even though you have cash on your debit card, it's not the same. And so I went to get them, and they wouldn't sell them to me. And then the ATM was down, so I couldn't even get cash to buy them. And I was like, what can I do? And there was a liquor store, so I went and got a bunch of airplane bottles.
Nice.
But they were all just in a paper bag. Everyone else had their stuff wrapped, and I was like, sorry.
Yeah, I remember one time I went somewhere it was real quick, and I ended up grabbing liquor. And then I saw they had little brown bags at the checkout, and I was like, hey, can I get 2 of those? And they also had Scotch tape. So I grabbed 2 brown bags, Scotch tape, tore apart the brown bags so they were flat, and then wrapped it around the, I think it was Crown Royale, and it came in a box. Wrapped it around it and taped it and had it wrapped. And I felt so clever because like just a simple brown wrapping still counts, and it kind of has that classic look to it. Especially if you put twine around it.
Ugh, if
Like
I'd only had some twine, I could have pulled it off.
Oh, that would have been awesome. You're not having a chocolate chip cookie. You need to go eat your breakfast. You eat your breakfast, I'll get you a chocolate chip cookie. Go eat your breakfast. No, you're not going to have big chocolate either. We got one of those king size bars, and I tear off a little thing.
Last year we used shipping paper as wrapping. I like it. I like butcher paper looks and stuff, though. I think it's like a cozy vibe.
Oh, definitely.
Also, my whole Christmas theme for my house, which I've never done before. I didn't used to decorate, but I know I have a video out where I'm talking about like dealing with seasonal affective disorder and like consciously putting an effort to make sure I'm doing things to make myself feel better. And that was part of my strategy, is to actually decorate for holidays. So I did. I didn't really do anything. Tony, stop. I didn't really do anything for Thanksgiving at my house. I just left like my pumpkins and stuff up from Halloween. But then for Christmas, I did like pillows, blankets, and I've had tons of candles everywhere. So all my Christmas stuff is pumpkin or like gnome, but it's like Swedish house elves gnome. And yeah, so that's what I've done, and it's been very cozy and fun.
Eva, I love that you use craft paper and stuff, because that just is. You want your socks off? I love that vibe and stuff. For me, I actually, when it comes to presents under the tree, I want as many different wrapping as possible. Like I actually vary the wrapping paper, and I got shiny wrapping paper, I got classic stuff, and
yeah. I agree with having like a variety of paper, not everything just.
But then I also love it when I see people having like an entire theme to their tree, and then the presents wrapping paper coordinates with the tree. My husband growing up, everyone had their own wrapping paper. So instead of doing tags, it was, this is your wrapping paper. So any present wrapped in this paper is yours and stuff. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's get ready for round 2 and start pulling the letters. Okay,
A through Z paired with number 1 through 60.
So y'all know what to do. A through D. You said A through Z. Z.
Ooh,
we made it far. A through Z. Oh, C23 is the first one.
All right, C23.
I'm making notes, by the way.
Okay, perfect. Oh, please stop. No, Spencer, please stop. You can try later. This screen needs for me. We said C23. Shade.
Yes. Shade. And then Y44.
All right. Y44. Oh my goodness. Oh, stop it. There's X. Oh, Y. 44 is promise.
I is an indigo. 5.
I5. Where's I? Scroll up. We've done that one before. So up, down, left, or right.
Eva, up, down, left, or right. We also have a B16 from Barrett.
B is in Victor.
B is in Bravo.
Oh, Bravo. We've done that one before. So left, right, or up.
Eva says left from indigo.
From I-5.
Yeah.
So left is glass.
Glass.
Yep.
Barrett says left from B16.
B16 left, so is order.
Barrett also says D27.
Up, down, left, or right.
Up.
Up is smoke.
Smoke. Okie doke. We've got 5. We need 5 more. I'm going to say Y19.
All right. Old. Which, by the way, I did recently watch the M. Night, I can't ever say his last name, movie Old.
Ooh, did you like it?
So good. Such a good twist. I was the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, where's the twist? Where's the twist? I need to know the reason behind this thing. And I thought it was clever. I could see it's one of those things where the way society is, you could see it happening.
I love the movie The Village.
Oh, that's a good one. Which is funny because a lot of people hated that when it came out. Like some people were able to guess it perfectly.
I'm like, listen, y'all, it reminds me of my childhood. Leave me alone.
I'm gonna go with 58V just because I'm looking at areas that don't have a lot of words. So 58V as in Victor is show.
I would like to request let's see, U50.
U50. Oh my goodness, this is the first word choice under U.
Oh wow.
The word is modem. MODEM.
That's a tough one. Okay.
Yeah, that is gonna be a tough one.
We're at 8.
8. Oh, 8 words. Okay.
V9.
V9. Heads up, by the way, is that the letter W hasn't had any choices, in case anyone wants to throw that one.
Ooh. Wait, we should have done W9 then.
All right, we could do it. V9 is key ring.
And then we need one more. 2, 4, 2. Yeah, one more. Oh, WD40.
Okay, so W40. Cog, COG. There's our 10 words. This is going to be difficult.
So now we just need our prompt.
Our prompt, choose between 1 and 81.
1 and 81, y'all. Hit us up in the chat. First come, first serve. 1 to 81. Oh, BT Dubs, Barrett is writing this prompt too.
Ooh,
69, Eva with the win.
Number 9.
69.
Oh, 69. That's right. Oh, we were gonna do that one time, and we ended up not. 69.
Did I do that?
Counting down.
Counting down.
I think this would be a good one to go with. All right, so now let me jump over. Ooh, whoops, easy, Sparky.
Chat.
Now you and I will choose our writing challenge.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna say no to all characters as animals.
Yes.
Remove sight or sound for all the characters. That could be a good one.
That sounds fun.
Write it like a children's book. Merge 2 prompts for 1 story. So we could have the chat get another prompt.
Ooh, well, Barrett already put another number in there, so we could do that one.
You want to do that one? All right, let's. This is gonna be interesting.
The number that Barrett put in was 55.
55. Oh, the final say. I love it. Like, I feel that works out well. So it's the final say and counting down. Could be counting down to the final say.
Ooh. All right, so I'm going to put this in the chat again with both parts of the prompt. Then I'm going to pin it. Maybe.
All right.
Oh, my screen froze.
Oh no.
Probably because I have like 97 tabs open.
Maybe.
I'm like
trying to write out my words. Modem show.
I'll have to try again because my computer's like.
Once I get it typed up, I can maybe throw it in the chat.
I put it in the chat. I just haven't been able to pin it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in there. I just.
All right.
I think that pinned it.
It would be in the There we go. Well, I see it's probably pinned. I see that you posted in the chat.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to let these dogs out. They're gonna drive me crazy.
Okey-doke. Are we ready for round 2?
Yep. I like where Eva's mind is going with this. She's like, a Western could work with this one, or a magician, steampunk with the cog.
I like it. I like it. I don't know if this is gonna let me pull up a timer now.
Oh.
My computer is like,
All right. Well, then we could put a runner thing at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And say we'll end at 11:14, and then we'll start at 11:44, which is about 45 seconds.
Okay. We shall do that. I will try to get my computer to not hate me.
Yeah. We got 30 seconds left. I'm gonna let these dogs out because they're driving me crazy.
All right.
They just want all the squirrels and birds that they can get. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Stay. I said stay when I meant go.
So my dog just got up and sat down when you said that. I probably should do the same OUT thing. We ready?
Yes.
Okay, go. Sprint number 3.
And at 11:14.
Ooh, sorry, we went 2 minutes over. Ow, 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 claws.
It's fine.
This
All
little
right.
rattle muffin is being so extra. And my story went in a direction that I did not entirely anticipate.
I didn't anticipate this one either, but I like how it went. I almost went a history route with it, but I still enjoy it. I don't even know how many words.
I did 400 and something. Ooh, I've got an email from Barrett.
I did too. I got 418, by the way.
I think mine's like 450.
Yeah. And I only had to change one word. Shade became shading, but I'll accept it.
Did I put that word in? Did I? Did I do it? Oh man, I didn't.
You didn't put.
I didn't put show in.
I had show.
I missed it. I completely missed that one. It's too late now.
You know what, Barrett? I like what you did where you highlighted the words in your story so you could quickly go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea, but I was definitely flying by the seat of my pants by the time we got to the end of this.
Yeah.
Especially since it took me a while to figure out where I was going.
It took me a while, and then I was like, once I went a direction, then I was like, how is this gonna wrap up? What's the
same?
What is it? And like I'm counting down, but also I was like, what's the final say?
Anyone want an orange cat?
I had an orange cat. His name was Peaches. That cat was BA though, because he came up as a stray, and it took me about a week, and then I finally was able to pet him. And I remember I was sitting outside petting him, and I called my mom. I was like, don't come to the door, but look out the window. I'm petting him. And the reason he got called Peaches because I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. I just was like, hey, orange Peaches. And then I found out he was a boy. So, and then the joke we have is that because we got close enough, we drugged him, and then we fixed him. And I have a feeling he stayed around because he was hoping we'd give him his balls back. But
that's funny.
Yeah, but he ended up passing away. That cat lived forever. But this cat, he was BA because he had like a part of a missing ear, one tooth gone, and like he'd hold his own against the dogs and everything. Like there was some neighborhood dogs that lived across the street and that would sometimes roam a little bit. My parents didn't have a fenced-in backyard, but there was this one time where the dogs attacked him, and my dad was ready for like. And if anyone loves pets, I'm sorry and everything, but my dad's standing over the cat who is bleeding profusely, ready for a mercy kill with his gun. And the cat looks up and goes, meow. And my dad went, okay, and like picked him up, and they ended up taking him to the hospital. And then, of course, my dad complained about the $2,000 vet bill for like years and years after. But that's the story. Our dad was ready for a mercy kill, and I believe he would have done it.
But the cat was like, no, look at me, thank you.
So, but that cat ended up having a stroke, and it's like one eye was completely dilated and stuff, and so that's when the mercy kill went down. All right, I got your story. You got mine.
I don't know if anyone has looked up brocade, but it is beautiful.
Look up what?
Brocade.
Never heard of it.
Like fabric.
Oh.
Dobby. I love
Dobby
you.
dear. This is our like last bed.
But please leave me alone.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I
got your story.
With me for hours yesterday. Ow, claws. And then, of course, he slept, or not really slept, but irritated me most of
throughout the night.
Yeah.
Did he sing you the song of his people?
Did. he tried to also fit his nose into my ear. He'll just like take his nose and just push it in here and like try
Oh, dear
to
Lord.
like I don't know if he thinks he's being sweet or if it's like he's trying to mark me. You know how that's why they like rub their lips on you and stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's,
I was just
sharing pheromones type thing.
yeah. He's sitting under my desk glaring up at me like I will conquer you.
I am finding your weak spots as we speak.
His ears are like recalibrating. Recalibrating. Okay. Barrett, first of all. First of all. First of all. No. I haven't even read it yet, and the answer is no, it doesn't. So you stop that right now. Now I'm gonna find us a timer.
Oh my goodness. All right. Did your computer start working?
It did. I just closed the whole browser and then reopened everything, and it's fine now.
Perfect. All right. You ready for our 10 minutes or less review?
Yep, I got a 10-minute timer here. Let me share it with you.
I apologize if there's any spelling errors and stuff because it was like literally write it and then I'm done. I'm highlighting, I'm emailing you, and you're going, oh, we went 2 minutes over. And I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, same. You're all good. All right, so we will begin sprint number 4 in
4,
2, and 1. Uh,
Started reading Barrett's story while I was waiting.
same. Same. Same.
I love Barrett's story. I feel like we should read it first.
Yeah, I'm not okay.
I'm not even
Barrett.
finished yet. I got like 3 more paragraphs, but and
Okay,
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna give you.
is this real life?
I wanna. I'm like the shade.
Hold on.
Oh my goodness. I. I
I'm on 2 more paragraphs.
Yeah, you spilled some tea. I.
Yeah, get your mocha latte and as well as kill them with kindness is the phrase that comes to mind.
I have.
Because when you kill with kindness and they still act that way, you look better.
I have questions.
I know. Barrett, if you
I'm
need help.
nosy.
But this is like what I love is that with this story, like he still kept it to the countdown and the final say, like he still kept that essence. And I love how actually all of us did like something completely different with it. That's why I love these prompts and everything, but it's still like the anxiety and stuff. And you definitely evoked emotion, Barrett, like 100%.
Yeah. Oh, I have feelings.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I was gonna grab a coin because he sent it to both of us. I was gonna flip a coin, of who was gonna read it.
I think I have one here. No, I might have left it in my other purse from my. I have a penny.
There we go. As long as there's heads and tails.
I always have a quarter in my wallet or in my purse for Aldi.
Yeah.
Okay, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads.
Okay, so I'll read then. All right, Barrett's story because they moved us so much more than her own. All right, I never promised them that I would be. I'm gonna do it justice. I promise. I never promised them that I would appear on that particular episode. I'd mentioned casually that I might be available to guest host. Nothing was ever confirmed, and they never followed up to make sure I was available. Imagine my surprise when I logged onto my YouTube account and saw my face staring back from the thumbnail. I took a long draw on my glass of water and thought through how I should address this. I knew this had to be handled carefully because this particular creator is known for throwing shade and low-key bullying folks that ghost them. I didn't need that smoke from them when I was just trying to do my own thing and focus on my community. I think the part that bothers me more than them assuming I would do their show is that this creator does nothing to support anyone else in the community. They never support other channels in their comments and chat, but expect all of us to show up and boost them in their content. Basically, we are just cogs in the narcissistic machine that is their channel. Live streams that exist essentially for them to be experts on everything. So why would they need me? Won't this just be them talking about how great they are and all the things they know? Somehow, my modem, which was supposed to offer me an escape from the drama of real life, had connected me to the drama of my online life. Oh, joy. In order to get out of this mess, I knew I was going to have to ruffle some feathers. I sent a light email explaining I couldn't make the show and why, which frankly, they didn't deserve. I could feel my old insecurities flutter to the surface as I pressed send. Would they churn their bullying on me for saying no? Older, wiser Barrett didn't give a fuck. Boundaries make good neighbors. I started counting down to the reply, which I was sure would be dripping with passive-aggressive jabs, like they normally do. Not even 3 minutes had passed before the notification lit up and they had replied. It was another shitty email meant to make me feel bad for standing up for myself. More narcissistic behavior. Cool. I'll just let them have the final say. Something tells me the community will see them for what they are in due time. I grabbed my key ring and headed out to grab a celebratory coffee. I finally stood up against to the biggest bully on authortube, and I deserve a mocha latte to celebrate. Hear, hear. Boundaries. So important. Like I kind of semi went through this, not this story, but that whole idea of something comes up and you have to cancel. So last night, I had an allergic reaction to something. My whole skin was itchy, blotchy, and red. And I thought to myself, okay, at one point, do I text Chandra and say, I can't make it? And even though I'd feel bad, you would not act like this person. Like, I know if I like text you with that, you would have been like, no, take care of you. I got you and stuff like that. No problem. But the thing is, this may be flash fiction, but what's the saying? Reality is stranger than fiction. Fiction is just a snapshot of reality. And actually, in my head, I'm going through authortube channels, honestly, and I'm like, no, I've seen that person in chats and other people's channels. Like, I'm going through, so it's interesting. Damn, dude. You snaps. In your words, Barrett. Snaps.
Just so much tea everywhere.
You know, and other than naming yourself as the narrator, you actually did really well bringing character to the, we'll call them the, the antagonist. You brought, like, I could picture this antagonist and what drives them, what motivates them and stuff. Like, you painted the picture perfectly. And it's not just because we're in the community as well. It's your writing painted that picture of how this antagonist, what drives them and everything.
Stop it.
My goodness. Are you okay?
I'm not okay. Ow, claws. Ow.
Oh, easy, Dobby, please. I need her, like, for at least another year, if not more.
You just clawed a hole in my foot.
Oh, gosh, sweetie. Do you got, like, Bactine or Band-Aids?
I literally have Neosporin on my desk because this happened.
For this very reason.
So much. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. He's, like, spiteful right now. He's just like...
I say things like, don't look at me with those tona eyes. And then, there's another one that I say sometimes. God, there's a few lines like that where I, like, play with those things. So my favorite line in this whole thing, and it's because I think a lot of us can relate to it, Barrett, and I just love the way you use the word and kind of encompassed, I'll just read the line and then I'll go through it. Somehow my modem, which was supposed to offer me an escape from the drama of real life, had connected me to a drama in my online life. Oh, joy. I threw in the oh, joy just because I like sarcasm. I'm very fluent. But that's kind of like what a lot of us do. Like, we're still us through the online life, but it's another part of us that real life doesn't get to see, and it's almost like a sanctuary. Especially with writing, this is our escape. This is our it's a safe space that like, even you and I critiquing each other, it's never you suck at writing, why are you even doing this? It's like, I can see where you're headed with this, here's my suggestion to make it better. And there's been times where it's been rough for me, but you in the chat will go, you know what, this would make a great children's book, this would, like, you got the feedback that it, like, uplifts and stuff like that. And so that line right there, when we no longer feel that sanctuary and uplift to make up words, that is relatable to not just authortube, but anybody who has online life versus real life. It was really good.
I mean, now
I just read Barrett's comments. He said Dobby is the author tuber.
who would be surprised? We could draw blood. You know, the funny thing to me though is I have been in this situation, but on the other side, and I mean Barrett knows about this, where like the thing was like leading all the way up to it. We talked about where I was and what I was supposed to be doing and how I was going to be in the live stream, and then I missed it.
and then Barrett called you out for not showing up, but that became like an inside joke. It was not a jab. It was not this passive aggressive.
No, not at all. Everyone was so nice about it, and I was like, shame. I mean, I feel like this really just embodies the so many seasonings and you chose salty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we went garlic salt with this one.
Oh, yes. Ooh, that be hella pointed at was. Nope, not in a million years.
He's like, it wasn't you, Chandra. I promise. We love you.
Flash nonfiction.
Oh, yeah.
Say.
I love all
Do we fight behind the scenes?
No, we actually don't ever. And we haven't fought. We haven't had a. I will say, like, so I edited on Google Docs the calendar for the next year, and I'm traveling. Mm-hmm. And of course, travel usually for me happens on Saturday because my kids get out of school on Friday, and then it's just easy to go. So there's like 3 different Saturdays where I can't do it, 2 back to back. And I'm just like, as I'm typing it, I'm like, get a guest host. And I just feel bad. I'm like, I brought you into this and was like, hey, I got an idea. Please come join me because you like writing flashes too. And then now I'm like, hey, good luck. See ya. But it's like, oh, at least I know ahead of time. It's over the next, like, just 3 times over the next year that I plan to travel. Actually, 2 times I plan to travel, but it crosses over 2 Saturdays. So.
Don't mind me. I was just over here choking on my water or this tea.
How dare you, while I'm speaking, fight to stay alive? Just give in.
Oh my god.
Barrett, you are more than welcome to guest host. And Chandra, I want you to like travel or something, so then I don't feel so bad where I'm always the one that's leaving.
Listen, I gotta update my calendar, and I already realized that I've made a mess of it. So yeah,
there's that.
I get it.
Actually, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna upload my spreadsheet, because even though I'm slowly with my spreadsheet, I'm slowly putting a number of words in. That's for me, but you can at least see the calendar side of it where I have it mapped out of like every live stream and what date that will be. So I'm uploading that.
I like this plan. Also, I feel like every time I email Barrett now, I'm gonna have like the asterisk sarcastic email, snide comments, and I'm just gonna like preface everything with a tone before I send the email.
Like, I promise.
I literally was watching a stand-up comedian who was talking about how it's difficult to read text, and that we need to be a little bit more clear with our with the way that we do that. And a great way to do that would be to clear things up would be to create different fonts for everything. So when you get an email back, you'd be like, wow, it was really clear how you felt about that using that passive aggressive script. I was like, oh, I'm dead. I want it. Now I really need that to be a thing.
Oh shoot, that's not it. I'm trying to upload the thing that I was talking about uploading, but I uploaded the wrong thing.
There it says I wrote what I wrote.
I own it, all over it. Desktop.
I will come visit. Just tell me where I need to go. I would love to go on a trip.
I would love for like flash fiction writers retreat or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome. And I love Barrett's idea that he was talking in one of the streams. I think it was with Zara. He was, and talking about like kind of what you and I talked about with the challenge, where it's like I write part of it and then we pass, switch, and we finish each other's stories. And I kind of like that idea, but his was like setting a timer, and it's like a bunch of people, and so multiple stories, and you like pass it through, or it might just been one story. And I was like, call it Flash Pass.
Ooh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm in, like, yeah. Oh, and I just want to make sure I make the record clear, because I've noticed it in a lot of live streams. I am not the flash fiction goddess that y'all are making me out to be. Let me just throw that out there. I am learning. Like, if I ever come out like the mayor's
nobody
wife,
asked you.
I'm not coming out like the mayor's wife to the town that I'm just arriving as well. Okay, we are on this journey together. I was in your party.
You don't get a vote on that. You don't. I'm sorry.
And I will admit, I threw in the name goddess, but that's the persona that I feel like is starting to happen. It's like, yeah, we gotta have Natalie. But she does this flash fiction. And then like when I did critique group live, that we did a flash fiction critique, and I was like, all right, let's get our resident expert. I'm like, who? Where?
You don't get to vote because we are allowed opinions, and you can't vote our opinions down, especially when it's a collective and corrective vote that nominates you to this position. So
Eva agreed with you. She was like, it's not up to you.
Now we have to update the headline of Natalie and Chandra argue live on air. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well, if I'm gonna get goddess, you're getting it too. All right.
That feels a bit excessive. There can only be one.
Oh, really? Look at any lore. Greek, Roman, Viking. There's more than one.
Yes.
You're guys of flash fiction, horror, and suspense for sure. I feel like you got that down way more than I do.
Murderous extraordinaire.
Ooh, I like murderous. She will kill her characters without blinking.
Eva says imposter syndrome trying to get you.
Be
not
gone.
in my house.
Well, I know I just read Barrett's story, but now I want to read yours. If that's okay.
Okay, no.
All right. Thank you, my queen. All right. I was counting down till the stroke of midnight, listening to the grinding gears and that click of the cog. I flipped the shade down over the glass magnifying disc that covered my eyes and bent back to my task. This was the last time I would promise work. I was the one who had the final say about when my pieces were done. Not even the princess could ordain that. It was part of the craft, my craft. I'd said by her wedding, but then she had the audacity to move the date up a full year. My process couldn't be rushed. Sure, it was a big order, but they didn't need to know all the effort that went into it. The magic that was behind it. It wasn't like I was making a key ring. These were the rings that would bind their hearts together forever. Even the queen as a modem, things were sure to get ugly. She could only blow so much smoke up our collective asses before someone wised up to the fact that she had been loosely translating what each of us was saying for the sake of peace and the nation. No, I wouldn't be played. If these were the games they wanted to play, then so be it. I braided my hair and pinned it up, pulling one of my father's old dusty books down from the shelf, The Old Magic. The name was a little on the nose, but it was accurate too. I needed to stretch my time. Scroll. Okay. I needed to stretch my time. I needed to do a year's worth of work in just a few hours, but by dusk, the bubble of time had spread around me. It was strange watching the daylight creep away. In my bubble, everything I needed to sustain. In my bubble, bleh. It was strange to watch the daylight creep away. In my bubble, I had everything I needed to sustain me so I could finish the work on time. This was the spell I've woven. Magic was tricky, especially blood magic, but the rendering of my work was flawless. I thought nothing more of the drop of blood that the recipe had called for. I dressed and carried the rings in their brocade boxes to the queen. Everything was flawless, till the prince slid the ring on her finger. Somehow it sliced through her flesh, shaving clean down to the bone. The princess screamed. The prince looked oblivious. He turned, looking at the mass of people. "It's a sign," he said. "My love has not been true." Then his eyes came to rest on me. "You, my love. I sense your presence with me all night. Your blood, it calls to me." He kissed me then, heedless of the princess, whose black hand withered where it had been cut. I stepped into her place. The ring slid smoothly over my finger. The bell tolled. Midnight fell. I really enjoyed this. So first and foremost, I like how I like these echo lines of you started the story saying I was waiting till midnight and then ended the story. The bell tolled. It was midnight. That was a great shift there. I do think our main character might have overreacted a little bit. Of like, oh, you're changing the time. Fine, I'm ruining your whole life. Might have been a bit of a jump. But it kind of made me think about that TikTok trend of it cost that much because I worked really hard at it. It's like a song that goes over and over, and it's talking about how I've had hours of practice and everything. It costs that much, and you can try it, but I'm sure it's not going to look as good as what I created. That's what the feel I got of. That's why it costs that much. The thing that tore me out of the story, that kind of jarred me and like made me realize I'm reading and I wasn't playing the movie in my head anymore, is the line, "Even with the queen as a modem, things were surely to get ugly." I think it's just because it's the word modem. I'm absolutely sure if you didn't have that word, you wouldn't have used it. And I was trying to see if there was another definition for it that maybe I wasn't aware of. Or maybe if we change like maybe I guess you were kind of conveying, I took it as like conveying the queen as like really old, like ancient, almost a little bit.
So that word was definitely a stretch, but it's this is how I stretched it. Is it's like the queen is the regulator.
Okay.
So the modem like regulates, but also it's not a word that suits the setting at all.
Yeah, kind of. This to me right here is kind of similar to when I used brain in my previous story. It's like it kind of took the reader out, and the movie kind of like screeched in our minds. But the things. One thing I did change. I want to say it was shaking clean down to the bone when the ring slid on, and I put shaving. I changed
that's what I meant to write. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Another time that I got picked up and because I was trying to read out loud the first time, was I'd said by her wedding, and it just seemed odd to me to say I'd said, and so I changed said to say at one point, but then I changed it back because I was starting to grasp that you were in past tense, and say would have been pleasant. So that was just me like getting hung up on stuff of words, and plus in that I think it's more of a layout situation because I was the first word, the last word on the previous line, and then said was the first word on the next, so having to jump I think is why that happened. But I loved the way the visuals, like I know she's welding without you saying she's welding because she flips the visor down, and the shade, and like it, you painted the picture, and I think when I really got into the story was when you were talking about the magic bubble and everything. It's like a year's worth of work, and she had everything in there, and that was a part where I added information in there, where I said, and it was strange watching the daylight creep away in my bubble. I put I had, and then everything I needed to sustain me, because it hiccuped me a little bit.
Yeah.
But like those like little tiny like, you made me struggle reading, which is not hard. That was it. Like that was my only feedback. Everything else, I painted this picture. It kind of gave me, and it's probably because I just watched a Witcher recap of season 1 before I start season 2, but it made me think of Yennefer a little bit. Like I could see Yennefer being this little vindictive and stuff, but I kind of imagine Yennefer as a character, like someone very, very beautiful, very talented, like master of her craft and everything. I could have imagined her being this character, especially standing up for herself and everything.
So one thing I think, I mean, because this is the way I always take feedback of like, is this how you intended it to come across or not? And if it didn't come across the way that it's intended, why not? So I think this is a question I have. My intent was not that it seemed like she's being vindictive. Rather, she's frustrated in the situation and doesn't know how else to deliver the order. And that's why she's saying, I would never give a specific time when it would be done. I would rather just say, I'll get it to you when I get it to you, basically. It'll be done when it's finished, versus her coming across as passive aggressive, because she's never used the old magic before. She doesn't know what the result will be. So it's not, the intention is not that it be malicious, it's that she really doesn't know.
Got a question then.
Yeah, go for it.
What about the line, I thought nothing more of the drop of blood that the recipe called for?
She didn't know what the purpose of the blood was. She just thought it was like, some blood magic. But with blood magic, you don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so I didn't get that from that line. It was like, I thought it was like I'll get to that later, or I'll get it. It'll be like, it's taken care of. I thought nothing of, not. That's strange. Moving on.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that's good. That's good feedback.
Yeah. Anything, because I did visually like see, like I imagine like the whole finger being just bone, like almost like where the ring was almost a frame of like normal hand and just a white bone.
Yeah.
Where the above the ring. That's the way I kind of imagine. But then did they get that ring off of her and put it on the main character? That's interesting. But then she's the one that created it, and so it's the ring already served its purpose and doesn't need. I imagine there was something sharp on it initially, but I think obviously if it's purely magic, then the ring is smooth. I feel like if it was conveyed that the ring was smooth, and or maybe it was now smooth because it served its purpose and stuff.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good to clarify. And then the other part, well, So this is the other part that I would stand out, is that, you know, she compressed all the time of a year to fit into one night.
Mm-hmm.
So where the prince says that he sensed her presence with him that night, like it started with the spell.
It kind of makes me think of like the cost of magic. Like there's always a cost.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she did the spell to speed up time, but the other effect of it was that what if she was stealing time from someone else
Mm-hmm.
or from herself because it's a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it definitely that part was I definitely got I sense your presence with me all night. Actually, I would say evening since it's just about to strike midnight. I would just say evening because it's like up all evening or all day and everything because she had to fit it within a day. Saying all night makes me think like he's going to sense her presence with him. Like he's like, hey, like one of those like bad pickup lines where it's like, huh, aren't you supposed to be naked? Oh, sorry, my watch is fast.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of pictured it a little bit. So.
I like it though.
I still. Yeah,
so the other thing about it that I was thinking, and this is more of like an afterthought, but you remember the movie Love Potion #9? Where it's kind of like that, where she also accidentally put a love spell on him. So is his love true?
I think we should. It should be conveyed. I say we. It's your story. Sorry. But have the like when you're introducing the book, the old magic. Which by the way, I felt this line, and I don't mean any offense. It's just the way I interpreted it. I did not like the line. The name was a little on the nose, but it was accurate too. To me, that felt like you're saying the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. I feel like you could have gone with one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But in the talk about the old magic, she could have gone further and like how it's hard to interpret and the price maybe even at the beginning paragraph, the price you pay for magic is not always known or something like that.
Or like even just put in like where it says that it's one of her father's old books where he'd always put them on the top shelf because these were like only to be used in case of emergencies or something like that. Where he's like, I wouldn't. I'm a pro. I've done this my whole life. Like you shouldn't know. Let's not. And she's just like, I'm in a pinch.
I need a year. So, yeah, I definitely liked it. I did like it. I like this story and everything, and it also makes me wonder. Like, it kind of a little bit gives me Cinderella vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the princess being like the wicked stepmother, the sisters, or something like that. Like, what happens to her? Does she get her eyes poked out by crows, or?
So that was kind of the inspiration. Instead of it being the glass slipper, it's the ring.
Nice.
And you know, in the original fairy tale, like where they had that, I think in the newer one, Into the Woods, where like there's like shaving off the part of the toe and the heel and stuff, trying to make the slipper fit. It's the ring kind of does that.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense.
It's like that ain't yours. It don't fit. Look what happened to your finger.
Wow. Man, I love retellings. Oh, that was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I definitely could see this expanding further. I just don't know what level.
Yeah, I want to play with it though. I like the feedback. I think it's really helpful and it can help me channel it more in the direction.
Yeah, I'll always be your beta reader.
I'm excited about it. I've got some stuff for you.
Send it my way. All
Okay.
right. I can take it. Bring it on.
Also, I feel like I have extra points taken off because I forgot to include show. So there's that. But onto your story. The modem hums louder, making the countdown from 50 seconds harder to hear. The plane is getting closer to the drop point. An old man stands at the head of mission control, but everyone is looking at the screens before them. 49 seconds. In the plane, a young loadmaster stands ready at the bay doors. The pilots come through his headset. Are you ready for the drop, Boston? 45 seconds and counting. Over. Opening the door now, Tex. Over, the loadmaster says. Boston hits the green button. The door screeches, the chains give way. A cog begins to note just as the door halts, halfway open. Shit, Boston says as he runs over to the cog. He takes a wrench and hits it a few times. Hey, Boston, everything okay back there? I'm showing the bay isn't fully open yet. Over. The pilot keeps his voice calm. Boston fumbles for his key ring of Allen wrenches. He grabs a mid-sized one and shoves it in the center of the cog. Just gotta manually open it. Don't worry. Over. Boston grunts as he turns the cog. All right, kid. Let's make sure the show is on the ground, not in our plane. 30 seconds. Over. Tech's voice wavers a bit. Boston grunts with each downturn, using his weight to twist the cog to open the door fully. The door just had another foot. 20 seconds. I promise I'll order you a beer when we land if you get that thing out of this in the next 5 seconds. Over. Tech's composure is gone. A glass Coke bottle rolled to the door, jumped the little bend at the hinge, and flew out the back. Boston got an idea. Lift the nose up. The opening is big enough to drop. We just have to increase the incline. Over. He shouted through his headset. The plane tilted up. Boston wrapped his arms around the chain, holding the door as he outstretched to the payload strap. His fingers yanked the release as the bomb tumbled out the back of the plane. Clear. Closing bay doors, Boston says as he takes in a breath with each word. The plane leveled out. Boston unraveled the chain from his arm and pressed the red button to close the doors. The doors closed with a resounding hitch, shading the bay from the sun. Boston sits on the floor, his back against the hull. You owe me a beer, Tex. You owe me a beer, Tex. Over. Boston says as the plane vibrates from the aftershock. I love this story. I think it's very fun, and there's an escalation in there that I marked out. I didn't actually mark anything that I didn't like because I liked all of it. I specifically marked out like green, yellow, orange, red, and then back to green for the escalation to de-escalation. And the parts where I think it's like there's space, even if you just look at it as a block of text, the spacing of them is also reflective of the escalation. Like in the plane, a young loadmaster stands ready at the bay doors. Good to go. No problems here. Green. And then there's 4 paragraphs, even though they're short. Hey, Boston, everything okay back there? I'm showing the bay isn't fully open yet. Over. The pilot's still calm, so this is like the yellow. And then 1 paragraph. All right, kid, let's make sure the show is on the ground, not in our plane. 30 seconds. Over. And Tex is starting to get nervous. And that's like orange. And then red is 20 seconds. I promise I'll order you a beer when we land if you get this thing out in the next 5 seconds. And composure is gone. And I like that steady escalation where it's not rushed and like back to back to back. There's just a little pause where you can feel the tension kind of ratcheting up for everyone involved in the situation. I also like the fact that up to this point, the loadmaster has been young. They've been checking on him. They call him a kid. And then, you say when someone becomes an adult, you buy them a beer. I'll buy you a beer. I'm going to consider you an adult if you keep us all alive. And there's that, all of that is like going parallel with the escalation. And it's it's really cool because that is the character development. The character, you don't see the character developing through their own eyes, you see them developing through the other character's eyes and view of them. And you watch them become not just like the kid or the young loadmaster, they become part of the team, tried and true. And I really like that. Even though at this point, when he's beginning to see, when his peers are beginning to see him as an equal, he hasn't gotten the idea yet that saves everyone. They're just counting on him. And he's like doing everything he can do to make this right, to make things work. And then he tells them what to do. And they've already gone through all the steps they needed to see him as an adult and to trust him and to do what he says without asking questions. Because if he'd said that at the beginning, I doubt everyone would be like, look, dude, just loosen up the thing, grab your key, do it manually. Nobody cares. Why are you being dramatic? Just get that stuff out of here.
We gave you an order, follow through type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, he's going through the steps that no one can see, but they're just like, okay, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. Something's really, really wrong. And by the time they get to that point of actually listening to him, it's like, okay, we're in crisis here. Whatever. We don't have the option of questioning his judgment anymore. I really liked that. And then you only ever see that he was nervous, that he was probably terrified at the end when he's like, you owe me a beer. And like, you know, he's going to have to change his shorts when he gets home. Like, you know, he will.
Not if he wore his brown pants, it'll be fine.
I love it. I love it. And you get the sense that like, oh, snap, that was close. Because they're like, the whole plane's like, he's like, you owe me a beer when we get back. I think it's so funny. I love the character development. I love the story. It's funny. There's so much tension for it to just be released with like a good laugh at the end, but you could also be like, yeah, I gotta change my pants too. I love this one. Yeah, I don't have any like feedback. I just, these are the reasons I like this story. I'll let you tell ways.
Yeah, I think the only part that if I was going to critique myself is there added value to having mission control seen first?
To be honest, because of its placement, I don't think it did any harm. But on reading it the second time, I don't see the need of it, aside from the fact that, well, I mean, I think maybe move it up a little bit so that we know this is our vantage point, but also how does mission control see in the back of the plane? Or is it somebody listening to the whole story? Because then if it's someone listening, this would be back at like the story that I wrote where I couldn't use any prose. It all had to be dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
If it's somebody listening, how do they see him stretching out? How do they know that he saw the bottle jump that lip? So there's that question.
I wonder what it could be, because I feel like mission control only answers the question of how the plane knows how many seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I could have done is the person calls out 49 seconds into a headset, then cut to the plane. And so, the pilot is getting the countdown and he's relaying that information to Boston.
Yeah, I think that's good. I like that. But yeah, aside from that, it's the second paragraph. I didn't think about it again.
Yeah.
So even though in the way it's written currently, it doesn't add anything to the story aside from the fact that we know, I mean, it does convey that we know they're running a mission, but I feel like the active...
A mission, and then there's a lot of people staked on this. Like, it's people outside the plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially, and when you say, when I mention the show being on the ground, not in the plane, it's like, well, show for who?
Mm-hmm.
And so
I think
I think I'm holding on to Mission Control in my head a little bit. The question is am I doing it because it's good for the story, or is it Dobby? I was speaking.
I feel like if someone just went through and grabbed all the times that Dobby tries to kill me during live,
oh my god,
of what
we
face
could make a total like video of just like, and the cut sequence of it would be hilarious, I think. Like, and then it'd be kind of like when you listen to a song over and over. First you're like really excited, then it gets funny, then it's like it starts to get depressing because you're hearing it for the 600th time, and then then it's like nostalgia again. That is going to be the arch of an entire video. Like I bet easily with all the videos you've done and everything, live streams, easily could fill like 30 minutes of like max 5 seconds of Dobby. He just scratched me. Like any reference to Dobby coming in the picture, all of it.
Yep. And he's just sitting there staring at me. And the thing is, he knows I'm going to catch him and put him down. So he started to like latch on with his claws as a response. Because he doesn't want me to put him down. And he chirps. I don't know if y'all can hear him chirping right before he jumps up here.
No, I don't think have I heard him chirp? I think I did once, and it was like he was being whiny about something. I forget what. Well, Barrett liked the tension just as you did. Did my message send it all? I can't tell. Like I typed something in the chat. Okay, it did. It's just not popping up on my, because I got regular YouTube up instead of my other one. All right, it's fine. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I liked both of my stories this go around. Like I'm actually like there's the writer in you sometimes where you're like, oh, this is not my best work. But then there's the ones where you're like, I like what I did. Like I feel like I'm getting better. And like, I mean, I practice different things such as not using names. And then this time I use nicknames as the names, which I feel like using the nicknames definitely, or call signs or whatever they call them, definitely conveyed a understanding like how close they are with each other and stuff. That even though they see him like a kid, but they're like protective of him.
Yeah. Like I feel like after this, like they're still gonna call him kid, but they're not gonna mean it.
Yeah, like it would be a term of endearment in the future if they say like, it. Not
affectionately call you the kid. Would you save all of our asses? Absolutely. Are we gonna call you the kid anyway? Absolutely.
Yeah, this guy's he's gonna get a medal for getting the bomb. Like in my head, when I started writing this, I was thinking I was actually going to call the poem Big Boy. Like I was thinking of doing a like World War II reference and stuff. But then I was like, well, I have Mission Control watching the screens. They didn't really have screens.
Yeah.
Live video feed back then.
Sure.
So yeah, it's I had fun with this one and the characters. I realized a lot of my characters, because talking about the kid makes me think of that one where it was keeping the supernatural from invading the ordinary or something like that, and it was they're hunting for the salamander like monster that is invisible, and she's like, easy kid, like it kind of made me think of that.
I like that one. That one was fun.
I love how we have all these stories now in our heads and just constantly like referencing like stories. It's gonna be so much fun to go back and edit, I think, like, and to relive the stories again, because that's one of the funnest things. That's what I like to do with movies too, is that if I can't remember how it ends, I want to see it again, because I like that experience of what's gonna happen. I totally forget. It's been like 20 years since I've seen this. God, the fact that I can say it's been 20 years since I've seen a certain movie is scary.
Oh my gosh, that happened to me the other day. And I have a coworker that I kind of razz sometimes because I know he hasn't seen a lot of the stuff that I have. And the other day, you know how like when you're working, you never say that it's quiet,
Mhm.
and he said it's kind of quiet today, and I was like,
Don't wish that even on me, Ricky Bobby.
right. So I sent him Samuel L. Jackson driving in the car and be like, and then I was like, oh, you don't even know who that is. And he was like, it's either Terry Crews or Samuel L. Jackson. And I was like,
What? Oh my God, that reminds me. So I was like probably 20, and it was one of my first jobs. I worked at a sunglass hut inside of a Macy's, and there was this kid there. I think he might have been 18, and he was telling me, God, what was it? I think we were talking about the song "Scrubs" by TLC. He's like, "Yeah, Destiny's Child." I'm like, "No, TLC sang that." And he's like, "No, they didn't. It was Destiny's Child." I'm like, "Dude, how old were you when that song came out?" like, I mean, not that I was that much older than him, but I was like, seriously, do not argue with me on my childhood. Is music, movies, anything. I know.
mhm.
I like 90s R&B is its own playlist. Do not mess with me.
My thing is, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't grow up listening to, especially like cartoons and stuff. And I can just be like, I wasn't allowed to watch cartoons, which is true. So like Nickelodeon, any of that kind of stuff, I didn't watch it. I wasn't allowed to. I was more likely to see whatever it was that my grandparents were watching.
Yeah,
So in those areas, that's where like I'm gonna know what's happening. Or if it was on Oprah, because my grandma watched Oprah every day.
it's kind of like
But
for me, I got into the old stuff too. Well, my sister was 4 years older than me, so I was exposed to things probably earlier than I should have been.
mhm.
But then also I was into kind of some old stuff. So I watched Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie and those type of shows.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it.
I started I Dream of Jeannie. I didn't finish it. I
Yeah, I
watched
didn't
a
really.
little bit of Bewitched. Um, my personal favorite in that space. I mean, I still like whatchamacallit with Alyssa Milano and
Charmed.
yes. I
Mm-hmm.
used to sneak and watch that. So like a lot of that stuff I
That's
don't
good.
have it in context or in order, but I would sneak and watch it. Or like one Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, it came on, and my brother and I started saying that we were tired and wanted to go to bed at like 7:30, and my parents were like, "What's going on?" And our objective was to get them to go to bed early enough that we could get everyone out of the living room so that we could go watch the show. So that was the first
Mm.
time I saw Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But like you think it was already out for a while before it would end up on TV. Like
Oh my gosh.
just on
Yeah,
TV.
that's true. Because it's usually like what 3 to 5 years or something.
Mhm.
So that sounds about right. The things. Hell, and now I watch the Disney movies that my parents let me watch as a kid. I'm like, you let me watch this? Like, or like any child movie, and I'm like, that went over my head then.
Right? I love stuff like that. However, this is the first time I ever saw a horror movie. I was 12, and my parents, we didn't watch movies, but Little Women was okay, and I really wanted it. I'd seen it before a long time ago, and my mom was like, "Oh, we can get that," especially since we found it at the thrift store. Um, but any good thrifter knows when you're buying something like that, you open the case and you check to see what's inside. We did not. So I go home. It's Friday, Saturday night, something like that. My parents are out. I don't remember what they were doing. And I moved the TV into my room so I could watch a movie because my brother's using the computer. We shared a computer. And I'm like, I'm going to watch Little Women. So I put it in, and this trailer starts playing, and I'm like, this is a odd trailer. Honestly, this is a really long trailer too. Like, at what point in time is the movie going to start? And then halfway through Chucky's Bride of Chucky, I think is what it's called. I realized that this was the movie, and I was cracking up. I was like, this is so stupid. I called my brother. I was like, you gotta come see this. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And we were both just like, huh, well, that's interesting.
Would you count Jaws as horror?
I've never seen Jaws.
Oh, okay. Because I watched that when I was 5. Like, my sister wouldn't even let me. Like, it was when we watched a movie, nobody's feet could touch the ground, as if that played a factor.
Mm-hmm.
We all had to be on the couch, like, fully and stuff. And I really like what the chat's saying, talking about horror and being exposed early. They were talking about.
Also,
well, Eva agrees with me. They were talking about the Beauty and the Beast series, which that was really, that was like early 90s. I think it was actually BBC did it.
So I know in my area they had a thing where you could go watch Jaws, but it was like on the lake, so everyone was floating like in tubes,
and then
at
you'd have
night
an inflatable
watching Jaws on a projector.
I don't do that. I'm not about that life.
Like a little, it would have been like a little, just someone's like foot touch my leg. I would have been like,
yeah, because you know there's gonna be some prankster or something that it's like got a snorkel or some crap.
Oh my gosh.
I got so scared that even getting in and out of the pool, just having my feet as I'm going up, and the feet are the last thing to leave the pool, like that. It's like going up the stairs when the lights are out and you run.
Yes.
Because you think there's something in the dark.
Yes. Not just think. My brother told me that there was something in the dark.
Oh.
He's 2 years older than I am. I was petrified.
Yeah, and then it screws you up. Like I watched The Exorcist when I was 10. I still remember the back bend down the stairs.
Oh, I did that. I did a dance thing, and it was like a Halloween themed dance thing, and that was how I ended my set. Because I did a back bend and I walked off the stage upside down. that was fun.
Oh my gosh.
Gotta make it creepy, you know?
I like the creep factor. I do. It's funny. I watch what is it? Like pranks on YouTube.
This comment without any context is also very funny. Their butts would be hanging down to you, right? If somebody dumped me over, I think I might actually die of fright. So I did get the plastic shark fin. So I had a roommate in high school. I went to boarding school, and I'd gotten up to go to the bathroom, and I had like this big. I had a queen size comforter, but it was a twin bed, so I had it just doubled over.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back, and I go to pull back my covers to get into my bed, and my roommate sits up, and she's like, "Roar!" Like not even aggressive or anything. It was like just like goofy, and I screamed so aggressively,
high pitched, loud, resonating.
But it was like so much force that I screamed with that I emptied all the air out of my lungs, and I couldn't reinflate my lungs for like. There was a moment where I was like, because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't inhale.
That level of scared.
It's a good thing I went to the bathroom before that happened.
I think I did I told this story before. I might have. So the boyfriend I was dating before I met my husband, I went over to his house, and I was gonna spend the night or something because I was like 20, and I opened the door, and then I turned to the passenger seat to grab my bag, and when I turned back, my boyfriend's there, and I went oh like that, and then I immediately started crying. Like my adrenaline went way up there, and then I just like went so like dip down. It was a
Yeah.
roller coaster in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's real. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I bet it felt terrible.
That's happened to me a few times where my anxiety gets like so ramped up and then I
Mhm.
cry once I realize everything's okay.
Oh yeah, that is valid. That is valid.
So,
I mean, I do like horror movies.
I don't. I mean, though I do and I don't. Like
I
after I
don't
get through
want
it
to
the
watch
first
it
time,
by
I'm okay.
myself. And
Yeah, I
don't
have to
wanna
watch it in the daytime.
Yeah. I don't want to watch it with someone I don't trust either. Although
Oh
I did
god,
end
no.
up watching it by myself in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep.
More power to you. Damn.
There's a new one. I've never seen the
My
old one.
stomach just growled. I think I'm a little hungry.
Mine too. I should probably scream.
Okay,
breathe,
we should probably
cry.
get lunch.
Yeah, we should do that. We should go get lunch.
Scream, breathe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that, Eva. That's gonna be my new mantra. Scream, breathe, cry.
We should rename this stream. Everyone's gonna be like, "What?" Scream, breathe, cry, another authortube tea.
No. You know what we could do is just keep on renaming the stream, and then at some point just put a symbol on them there, and then someone has to say the stream formerly known as.
We should do it. Oh, that's great. Barrett, though, I feel like if we gave out awards, clean up on aisle 4. Someone has spilled an entire gallon of tea.
Yes.
I can't.
And what I like the most is that Barrett, he hasn't said like, yeah, this is true, or yeah, it's exact. He just said, I wrote what I wrote. Like, there you go. It's up to interpretation. And you know what it makes me think of? Is that entire thing is that it could pair perfectly well with the song You're So Vain. And then the line, you probably think this blast fiction is about you.
Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie though, whenever people say things that are like even the least bit shady, I'm like, was that me? Did I do it?
Yeah, like I do a double check and like I'm thinking back and I'm like, have I been a bad person like in the past? Like not overall, was I inconsiderate at any point? Did I stick my foot into my mouth?
So Barrett corrected, it is a flash nonfiction.
Ooh.
And he just got TER.
Man. It will go down in infamy.
You're so vain, but this is absolutely about you. It's not anyone that I've had on critique group
CGO. Live. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. We're safe for now.
Not scrolling back through every single critique group live that has ever happened.
No. Now, here's the thing. You need to find what streams Barrett has been on.
That haven't been on Critique Group Live?
That haven't been on Critique Group Live, yeah.
Well, that's all I shall say.
If anybody wants to take on this and go Nancy Drew with it.
Anyway, we gotta go because I've got some research to do.
Yeah. Just a bit. It's gonna be a working lunch today.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's great. Oh, y'all.
Thanks. Thanks,
today has been both rich and rewarding. Eva has a short list. I'm gonna get with Eva after this.
Ooh. We might need a IG chat going. Our powers combined. And actually, I have to go to the store and get a gift card so I can mail it off.
Yeah, I need to do some such things. Can't wait to play again. Y'all, this was a good time. We will narrator. Eva knows.
Always good chats.
Eva, I'm gonna catch you later.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. This has been a blast.
I love our
chat. Next week on Natalie's
channel. On Christmas Eve, the 24th at 9 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I am not going to be on authortube on Christmas Day. I promised.
I am, because
I might have to lock my phone away in my laptop, and then if there's anything that happens on Christmas Day, I'll just watch it on the rewatch.
Fair.
So,
if there's any major tea, I'll let you know.
Yes, please do. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything in the chat, like a side, like, oh, by the way, it's this.
Right.
Okay.
Well, y'all, thank you so much. We'll see you next week, Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for coming, for participating, for sharing your stories with us, your flash nonfiction, the tea, the drama, all of that. And we'll see you next time.
The tension.
Bye.